Yes, people, big up to every single one of you. Welcome back to the channel. Myself and Lee Judges talking all things Arsenal, and we are going to look back at the Lisbon game and forward to the West Ham game today and talk a little bit about some of the personnel and how we're playing as a team. Absolutely brilliant to see us in the last couple of games. It's been so much more enjoyable. And do you know what that means? We can sit and smile as we talk about Arsenal again. It feels like forever, but the last couple of games, I feel like we've got our Arsenal back, Lee. How was Lisbon, mate?
Absolutely brilliant. I was walking around in shorts and flip flops on the Tuesday afternoon, and then got to the game slightly chillier in the evening. Got as the night went on, but wow, what I see on the pitch, wow. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think. I thought those performances, Dan, were not there no more after what I'd see last season. But soon as all the big, you could argue. Come on, let's argue the fact that's probably Arsenal's best team. You might have said Ben White gets in it, but at the end of it, like everybody, it was fit, available. I think Declan Rice was fitter than what he has been for the last few games. Looked fresh. His energy levels were up there. Thomas Partey outstanding. Martin Odegaard, well, what can you say about him? But for every single one of those players, I just thought that they were all not all at the top of the game, but very much higher at the top of their game. I don't think no one had a bad game. I think everybody contributed, goalkeeper included. He had to make vital saves in the first half and in the second when we was under the pump. Damn, for me, we were talking at half time how good it was. That was another thing about the blinding internet there, so you could watch everything. It was unbelievable, you don't normally get that in a stadium, but it was absolutely top class. So you could talk. So I was talking to you about it and we're saying, 3-0. And then I said, I can't believe that first minute of the second half. But I still saying, I said it earlier on as well today, I think that was a brilliant, maybe, I don't know, the first half was fantastic, wasn't it? But once we went 3-1 down, I thought we showed something in that bit there, rode out the storm. As we know, Manchester City couldn't ride out the storm. Rode out the storm and went on again. There's so much to admire from that performance, Dan. It really was. From the substitutes coming on, contributed as they did on Saturday. And you know what? This time last week, I was saying, when what difference a week makes in football, but I wasn't really looking forward to the Nottingham Forest game because I was nervous. I didn't know what I was going to get. But after these two games, as soon as that game finished, I'm buzzing for West Ham, really buzzing for it, and it was just it was an amazing day. As Ash says there about the smoke, that was hilarious. Yeah, absolutely hilarious. Because obviously their fans are below us, and they put off the smoke. You couldn't see for about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you could not see anything just apart from this smoke. When you're 2-0 up,
this is ridiculous. This would not be allowed in England, and it's right though, isn't it? It would not be
right. It shouldn't be done. You know what I mean? I'll be honest, it shouldn't be done. And there's a big argument for me, and it's something we can talk about another time. Is you get stuck up in the gods, and it's about time we started doing that to away fans in Europe as well. By the way. But yeah, when you're 2-0 up, it don't matter. Yeah, listen, I spoke to a few of the Portuguese fans before the game, lovely and friendly as you're walking around town and all that. They fancied that they weren't looking for a draw. They'd smashed Man City. They thought that this was a win for them. I actually asked one fan, "Would you take a draw?" He went, "No way. We're winning this." You know what I mean? 2-0. He weren't saying that at half time, I bet, because I thought it was absolutely unreal performance. I don't know how you feel about that first half performance, Dan, watching it, but I thought it was outstanding from minute 1 to 45.
Listen, man, these are my thoughts. I'm going to put both games into one because I thought the first half in particular were very similar against Forest and Sporting Lisbon in terms of our domination. the reason Sporting Lisbon was more impressive was because it was in the Champions League away from home. And I've not seen a performance like that and that convincing and that dominant since maybe the San Siro in 2003. And I haven't seen a win as big as that since maybe 2006, the Real Madrid Bernabeu one when Henry scores. I honestly sit there and say they are the only two games that stick out in my mind in the Champions League. The reason Forest and Lisbon was different was a few reasons. I thought there was 3 reasons, but 2 of them were quite obvious. First of all, Mikel Arteta took the shackles off. It's not like, well, we're now lumping balls in the box and Odegaard's taking it around everyone and scoring. Odegaard's in the team and scoring. No, the whole system is different with Martin Odegaard in the team. The second thing is Odegaard's back. But the third thing was we've got an unbelievable fullback on our hands, mate. We've got an unbelievable fullback on our hands. It ain't Ben White. It's Jurian, mate. He is phenomenal at right back. I can't stress enough how good this kid is, mate. He is phenomenal, mate. I've seen him in the last 2 games, and I just think, wow, you're good at left back, but I love you, Benny boy, but he ain't getting nowhere near this team with this kid here. He is mustard, mate. Absolutely mustard. He's got more athleticism than Ben White. He's more comfortable on the ball. He's better with driving the ball forward. Ben White's brilliant overlapping and making runs, but not with the ball. This guy does it with the ball at his feet still. He's phenomenal with telepathy with Odegaard and Saka. And these last 2 games on that right-hand side, he's gone from being good to taking us to being elite, mate. And Timber, everything was going for him against Forest. Everything was going for him at Lisbon. And, you know, fair play to Mikel Arteta because that's why we bought him, right? He wasn't to come and sit on the bench and be back up to Saliba and sometimes play at left back. He was to do that, yeah, sometimes. But actually, he was to start at right back. He has been so good, man. And you know I like Ben White. You and I picked him in our favourite ever 11, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When you look at the shithousery, I love the movement. I love the key player he's been in the last few years. But Timber's better, man. You just got to do the eye test sometimes. And I think that's what we did as a club. We looked at Timber and thought, you're better. So I look in the last few games and I just think, yeah, you are an elite level fullback. And at right back, you just look you just look really comfortable. So our right hand side was so good against Lisbon and against Forest that is basically won us the game in both of those games in the first half, pretty much. That's how good we were. So I think the first thing I'll say is that. The other thing I'll say is I actually feel Calafiori, as much as I'm still not sure his positioning is great at times, I think our left-hand side has looked better when he has been playing. Yeah, I think that when you've got Marino and Rice in that 8, whoever it be, and Martinelli, I think all 3 of them play quite okay. Like, none of them are electric because our right-hand side is levels ahead of our left, right? But I feel like it's better. And I'll say, I thought everyone played well, Lee. Gabriel and Saliba ate them up. Raya pulled off some world-class saves, by the way. Forget about it. Everyone played really well. Likewise with Forest. And what was really pleasing was against Forest, I said, I haven't really missed Havertz because we're quite free-flowing without him still. And Jesus was not amazing. It wasn't shambolic, in my opinion. And then when we had Havertz in the other night against Lisbon, I thought we were as free-flowing. And I think what I was kind of looking at was maybe we're more free-flowing because Havertz ain't there and we're not lumping it up to him to stick it to his chest and all that. The whole of the style and the shackles have come off, mate, and it looks so much better. And it is better with Saka and Odegaard because them 2 together have got one of the best partnerships in the league, mate. When they're together, we look so good. So I've definitely got a lot of positives to say about the last couple of performances. How can you not? There's definitely players that I still am starting to look at thinking, where are we at them? Because Declan Rice is one of my favourites. Him, Saliba and Saka, the 3 of them, I love them, right? I just don't think he's an 8, bro. I've just got to be real with you. I don't think he's a Fabregas. I think he's a Rodri, man. And I love Partey, and I think he's one of our better players. And I can see why he's not playing in the 6 right now while Partey's delivering at this level. But I feel like it's a bit of a waste of playing him there. We spent 105 million and we're sticking him on the 8 because the 30-year-old's still better than him in the 6 or whatever it be. I don't know. I had this argument with Kenny quite a lot. Kenny says he's an 8, he ain't a 6. I say he's a 6, not an 8. And he says, no, Partey's better in a 6. So maybe it's a good thing because we've got competition and stuff now, right? But I look at it and I think, where is Rice's future then? Because a lot of people tell me that it's Rice, Marino and Odegaard, but Partey's too good, so now Rice is playing 8. Maybe that is the fact that it is. I quite like Partey, Rice and Odegaard. I'm not saying Rice is a shambles in the 8. I just don't think he is. I don't think we get what we got last year when he's playing in the 8. Because I saw him have 3 or 4 good games in the 8 last year. I think it was against Burnley, West Ham, and I think it was Sheffield United where we were blitzing teams. But if I'm honest, that was quite easy to beat those teams, right? So when I saw him in the 6, I was like, I think you got 8 man of the matches out of the first 12 games playing in the 6. And I thought, you are unreal. and now he's playing in the 8. I'm just not quite comfortable with it, Lee. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you what, it's a great point. It's a great conversation. I see what you're saying. The performances at the beginning. I thought he was brilliant in the 8 on the back end of last season, the energy levels and all that. And I actually liked his performance Tuesday. I know what you're saying, though. There was more some outstanding performances when he was playing in that role. And even sometimes playing as a double pivot with Jorginho, I remember. I thought, wow,
Yes.
right, you know what I mean, he was really, really good in it. I don't mind him playing in that role yesterday. I know what you're saying. He just balances it all up. There was so much. What I liked about him on Tuesday was not so much his forward run. I thought he made a few good drives and things like that. It's the way we win back the ball so very, very quickly in areas when we then can go on the front foot, and he's doing that all the time, just getting back, making hassling people. I thought their midfield was very, very good on Tuesday. If you have a look at it, they're the ones that made the chances, had the shots and all that. But I just think in the end we just overpowered them. Just was too good for him in midfield, and I think the combination of Partey, Rice, and then Odegaard, it's just got all different things, contrasting styles of whatever, and it just gels and it just overpowers midfields, and I like that. And I think that with Declan, I don't really know where his role is long term, Dan, whether it is in the 6 or the 8. I get what you're saying, but I also think there's so much more to his game than just being a 6. Do you know what I mean? With that, because when he runs with the ball, he powers past, not powers, just powers through. And but
do you not think he can do that from the 6 like Rodri does though?
He can, and but then you've got to get someone that does what he's doing in the 8. And I don't think that we've got that. Marino's a different sort of a player, but Thomas Partey I was purring over him.
So good, man.
Tuesday. So good. A couple of times he got the ball and he waited for him to come in and he popped it round them and was broken the press. It was outstanding.
I thought he was so good, man.
Oh, it was so good. So the great thing is, if Partey was to be rested, I would put Jorginho and still keep Rice in the role that he's doing. I know that probably Arteta wouldn't. He'd probably go, I'll tell you what, we need to get Marino in and put him in that role,
I think he wants Marino in the 8. That's what I think he does want.
But
it's hard because at the moment there's competition. But
the only thing I get, like we're playing this 8, but I think what you're saying is you want the 8 to be left footer. If he's, where Declan Rice hasn't got that. That's the only thing that's going against him in that role. If I'll be honest, there's times when he drives past people, he has to cut inside a little bit but I was really impressed with that midfield. I thought that midfield just overrun a very, very good midfield, in my opinion. And if it can do that to the Porto, it can do that to a lot of midfields. I know forwards win your games, defence wins you leagues, as they say that and all that. But midfield is where games are won and lost. You have to win that midfield battle. And with them 3 in there, we didn't just win it. We just tore them apart. It was so good to watch. Just so many different aspects of it. Oh, and not only that, Dan, is if you have a look at the penalty, who wins the ball? Odegaard wins the ball in midfield. The Odegaard was coming short for the ball. And what that does, then Declan Rice goes driving forward. Then it opens up for Thomas Partey to have a little bit more space than probably what he would normally get, and then he can kill teams. What a pass for Saka's go! I just think it was all round very, very good. I'm sticking with Rice in that role at this moment in time, but I also think it's good that we can use both of him in that role, either or. As for Timber, I'm still a big Ben White fan. I thought he was just sensational on that.
It's crazy, wasn't it? It's crazy.
Unbelievable performance. comfortable on the ball. When he picks up the ball, he can come inside. He drives past people in comfortable. Whether he's going when there's players around him, he's comfortable to just hold it and wait for Martinelli to make his move, and then he just pops it into Martinelli and he goes again. Defensively sound. I thought what I liked, I don't know if you noticed it a couple of times, ball goes across the box and Calafiori's like a centre half at the back post, knocking it away. Defensively, very, very sound. I think that maybe a fault at the goal, would you probably say, was Calafiori? I don't know. Good finish, but I felt he could have done a little bit better. Yeah. But other than that, don't forget he's just coming back from injury. He's not 100% fit yet.
He's impressing me more, Calafiori. His positioning at times, I still don't quite get it. He's just a little bit like, where you going, man? Calm down. Stop being rash. Stop getting excited.
Yeah, it gets a bit excitable. I get that. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, it gets a bit excitable. But I like him, and I think that he'll be a good player for us. Kenny thinks he'll be our centre back. Maybe in the future when Gabriel goes. He ain't breaking that partnership at the moment.
No.
Do you think he could be a good left back, Calafiori?
I think so. And if not,
is he a centre back playing left back, or is he a left back? That's what
I think. There's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that, like the Ben White thing as well.
Yeah,
And if it don't work, then let's go and sign Timber's twin brother. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? Because that was outstanding. I think what they do is, if you had a look at that game, Timber goes piling forward. He goes bombing on a lot. So you're sort of playing a back three. And when you're playing that back three, then Calafiori is very, very comfortable in that role. He can play down the left-hand side. He can play alongside Gabriel, and I think that was something that they done. But he's also comfortable going inside and playing. They don't use him as much. I don't know if you noticed that on Tuesday night. There were times when he was in good positions in the middle of the field, but they didn't use him as much, or I had the confidence. Maybe because of the injury and he's only just coming back, but there's a lot more confidence with Timber in those areas. I think that Calafiori's still got that to maybe learn and all that. But I liked his performance away from home in Europe. Solid, no frills, no spills. Done really well. And then what I liked about it is I'm not 100% right at this moment in time. So what they done was then they put Zinchenko in there, and Zinchenko I thought done very, very well when he came on. It was just same sort of thing. They was relentless going down that left side.
That's what we've got to do with Zinchenko, is when we're comfortable in the game, fine to have him on. Fine as a sub comfortable in the game. I don't want him starting when it's 0-0 or when we're 1-0 down, because just defensively he's all over the place. So when you're 5-1
these two games have suited him to come on, if I'll be really honest. You're right. We've got a good base where we're defending really, really, we're quite comfortably up, and he's then coming on and not, I wouldn't say the game's going up a level, but he continues at that level, and it was good. It was a good, just all round performance. And what we've got to do now is bang that on now in the next game. Bang it on against West Ham. Bang it on against Man United. Bang it on against Fulham. And if we can see where it takes us, because it was a very, very good performance. I felt that Saka was brilliant as well. The best thing for me, though, Dan, I'm still going to say it now, was when we went 3-1 up, when they went and scored that early goal, the atmosphere in the stadium changed. And I don't know if you felt that on TV, where they'd gone. They'd gone. Their fans had gone. The energy and the life had been sucked out of them, That goal energised them. They had another free kick that went over the bar, and it was at 10 minutes we had to dig in, be professional about it, and I've experienced about it, and I felt that we was down. We rode over that, and then went again, and at the end, we could have got a few more.
Yeah, we really could have, man. We really could have. Let's talk a little bit about Gyökeres, because his performance, I thought, to be fair, he didn't stop trying right until the end. And there's a lot of people that said that it was a bad sort of performance from him and it weren't great. I thought he got ate up by Gabriel and Saliba. I thought there was an opportunity for him in the second half where he hit the post and Kivior come on and he rolled him. And, there's just shows his class there. Has that changed your opinions on the player at all, that one game?
No, I like what I see of him. You know what I mean? Like, there's not many players that get the best of that partnership. Like, I watched Mbappe yesterday, and he was awful. Do I think he's rubbish now? No, you know what I mean. Like, you're entitled. You're going to get done every now and then. It's just the way it is. What I liked about his performance was that I felt that Gabriel and Saliba, excuse me, had to be on their best game. They never took their eyes off him once. If they'd have let down their guard, I think he might have got in. So they was right up for that game, them two. Right up for it. Why? Because they know that he's dangerous and all that, like, And I like what I see of him yesterday. It was like he was getting the ball. Do you know, I'll tell you who... do you remember we played Brighton a couple of years ago and Ferguson was a big reputation and all that, and Saliba and Gabriel destroyed him that day. I don't know if you remember it. Like, I don't think he's been quite the same since. He just made him look ordinary, and I would imagine he went home last night and that night and thought, I've got a lot of hard work to do. I didn't see that with Gyökeres. I felt that he was more right. Yeah, okay, you're getting the better of me, but I'm going to be a presence. I'm going to worry and all that. Like, I do find it very, very funny though, Dan, that half the fan base of Arsenal fan base was sticking up for him when there's no need for that. Like, at the end of the day, they were all like, well, I'd like that. Be a little bit more defensive towards
Gabriel and our players like Jesus, right?
And Jesus and Kai Havertz, because like the protection for Gyökeres has been unbelievable from a lot of our fan base at the end of the day.
I think it's because they're desperate to want him, aren't they? They desperately want him, some of them, and they're like,
yeah, I get that. I get that they want him, like, you know what I mean? I remember that, like, you know what I mean? I don't know what Gary's going on about. Remember you 1-4-2 and smashed up. Like, I'm talking about when we beat Gary. I don't know who you are. I don't know what team you support, right?
I don't know what he's on about.
I don't know what you're on about. When I had my first beer at 12 o'clock, I was a bit funny as well, like, so, have a sandwich with your beer, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, Ferguson's a very good player, by the way, like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we beat him 2-0 and he never got a kick, and it was embarrassing watching him play. In the end, he got destroyed. So, but I don't know about a 4-2. But listen, I think he's a very, very good player. So going back to Gyökeres, I think that he's a very, very good player. I think he's got talent. I think he's got and I get the desperation. Do you know what? Would you take him now? 80 million, I think, is a lot of money, like, for it all, like, you know what I mean? So that is maybe one thing. But do you know what I noticed about? He's no slouch neither, by the way, Dan. I think people said that he's a bit of a battering ram. He's not a battering ram. I think they've been a little bit disrespectful for him there. I think that he's got a bit of pace, a bit of pace. He's got everything going for him, I think, like, you know what I mean? But
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of him, and I don't really know what more he has to do. Because I've heard people go like slate the other way. I've heard some Arsenal fans that want him being like, yeah, he's still good. I'd still take him, stick out for him, blah, blah, blah. But also heard people go, he's awful. Like Julian, I mean, I don't know what he was smoking over there in Lisbon, bless him. Maybe the smoke got to his head, but he's a championship player. I thought, what is he talking about? Like, let's just be real. This guy has delivered in everywhere that he's gone. He scored in Champions League.
Yeah, like he's done the business in the Champions League, Dan.
Respect it.
Against Man City.
Hat-trick against Man City. He scored 4 for Sweden. He's doing it for club and country. He's doing it in the Champions League. He's doing it in the Portuguese league. I just think that every time I said this one with Troops earlier, every time you say something about him, there's someone going, yeah, but they have a go at him. So, like, I don't know, he's at Coventry. Oh, Coventry. Oh, dear. Yeah, but he scored 30 goals for him in the Championship, which is a hard league, by the way. Then he goes to Portugal and gets 58 goals and assists in 50 games. Farmers League, mate. Farmers League. Well, who else is getting 58 GA in the Portuguese league then? He's just scored 4 for Sweden, tap-ins against Azerbaijan. Who cares? It's like, okay, let's just keep Jesus then. Or get Eddie back. Like, what do you want? Like, it's ridiculous. I don't get it. Like, what does this guy have to do? Like, let's be real. And look, I'm not saying he's going to win us the league and take us to the next level. But, you know, Mo asked in the chat, would you take him over Havertz? You're going to say no. I'm going to say yes, because I think he's got the form and the numbers. I'd keep Havertz as a backup and have them both. But for me, if I had to pick only one of them, I'd take Gyökeres, because right now, I've not seen Havertz get 58 in 50 or 50 and 58, whatever the hell it is. I've seen Havertz get 14 goals for us, which is good, but I'd rather someone get 20 to 25, like this guy's been doing for Coventry and Portugal, and now banging him in for Sweden. That's what I would do.
That's the key. He's done it at Champions League level, and he's done it at international level as well. You know, the numbers are not there. Listen, and people are going, oh, we weren't that great and all that. Well, put him in Arsenal's team when you create it. He wouldn't have to do what he done today. You know what I mean? Like,
Agreed.
You know, like there'd be a lot more movement and things like that, and possibly could he be that more dangerous than Havertz in the box? I think that he would be, but I still think Havertz has got something to offer, like, you know, like he did yesterday when the way Arsenal play. I think we'd have to change our style a little bit if we was to bring in Gyökeres. But in saying that,
trust Arteta to change the style. I think we'd have to.
Is that a bad thing? Because I would look at it and think that you've got the option of playing a false nine, and if you want to play that way, you'd play Havertz. But if you want to have the real deal centre forward, then you play him. You know, now we was on the Forever Arsenal earlier, and all three of those guys said that they would take Isaac over Gyökeres all day long. You know, I'm not so much in that camp. I like both. And people go, oh, have you ever watched Gyökeres play? I have, because I have watched a few games in the Championship and all that. Like, and let me tell you, in the Championship, if you can handle the physicalities of the Championship, you can handle the physicalities of the Premier League. I'll tell you that now, like, you know, because it's physical, it's demanding, and it's every 4 days. You know what I mean? Like, relentless. And so I think it can toughen you up and make you a better player. And I think that's what it's done with him, like, you know. And he's gone on now.
People that say, well, Championship, and they scoff at it. Would you take Morgan Rogers? Would you take Eze? Would you take Elise? They were all Championship players when they were bought. You know, you've got to respect that sometimes. If you just because you're delivering at that league that's lower, you've got to start somewhere, man. Do you know what I mean?
Aaron Ramsey come from
great point. Jack Grealish as well, another one.
Yeah, Jack Grealish was playing in you know what I mean? I've never been that Championship thing, you know what I mean? Like, as you say, you know, Rodgers is a big example of that. Was, you know, doing the business at Middlesbrough. I wish Arsenal had him. I'll tell you that now. I wish Arsenal had him.
That'd be perfect. Perfect.
And also looking at the Championship, you know, is that a tougher league than Portugal? I would say that it is. I wouldn't say quality, but I would imagine that you've got a lot more harder games in the Championship than the Portuguese league or the French league somewhere along the line. You know what I mean? Maybe the quality ain't there, but you know, like there's no easy games in the Championship. And I'll tell you what, like, once they find their feet a little bit, these Premiership clubs, these Championship clubs. I watched Southampton batter Liverpool for a majority of that game. You know, where were they last season? Ipswich have gone to, you know, Tottenham and won. You know, so these teams are capable. So I tell you what, I'm going to say, I'd love to be a Championship player. I would have loved to have been a Championship player. It's like taken as a bit of an insult. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't know if it was to come over that way. Oh, only Championship player. Well, I'd love to have been able to be good enough to play in the Championship. it's a bloody good standard, like, you know what I mean? And they're like, you know, so I think that listen, there's lots of very, very good players that have come through the championship and become top class players. I'll tell you one which you probably will not believe. Probably our greatest English player in Paul Gascoigne. Where would he start when he was at Newcastle? You know what I mean? Weren't in the top flight. You know what I mean?
You're right.
The top flight, but he played some second division games.
Hey, George Graham put together Nigel Winterburn from Wimbledon and Steve Bold from Stoke. Do you know what I mean? So I'm with you. I think there's definitely a lot of people.
Imagine if we've done that now.
Imagine
you thought Lee Dixon, Steve Bold, Nigel Winterburn from Wimbledon, Andy Linnigan from Norwich. All right. You know, that would have been incredibly tough. And also, listen, players like the youngsters that come through, Paul Merson, you know, come through the ranks, for instance, like, but he had a little spell at Brentford. You know what I mean? You have to have that experience to toughen up and all that, like. So a lot of these younger players back in the day would have played at lower level to get some first team experience. So I don't really see why that's there. And I'm not being horrible, but sometimes you'll get a player, I don't know, like Martinelli or someone, just for instance. Well, if I'm not mistaken, he played in the lower tiers of Brazil's team, like, you know what I mean? So, we better not take him then because he's played at Division 2 in Brazil. So I don't see why it's a little bit of an insult, really, to have played in the Championship, as I said, like, you know. So I don't really get that, like, you know.
Let me ask this question. Get some questions in, guys, the last few minutes before we move to the West Ham game this weekend. This one comes in from Ash. He says, would you rather Gyökeres in January or Isak in the summer?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know. I don't necessarily think that if we get a striker that would guarantee us winning the league, whether we do or we don't. Do you, or do you think that it would?
I think it will guarantee us a trophy. I really do. I think we've got more chance of winning a Champions League with Gyökeres up top. Mind you, we wouldn't be able to, would he?
All right.
Actually, if you cup side,
you could both are available in January. Which one would you go for?
I've always said Isak. The reason I'm going to pick Gyökeres is two reasons. One, injuries are a massive issue for Isak. Massive. If you look at his record, it is brutal. It is not good. Gyökeres will be cheaper and is on fire, on absolute fire. Not that Isak's rubbish on form, because I think he's still scoring goals here and there. But Gyökeres is destroying them. And do you know what? I actually think that Gyökeres has a little bit more about his game. Isak, I think, would probably fit us better in terms of our style.
I think
Gyökeres could do it. I think Gyökeres could do everything. He looks like he can hold it up. He looks like he can link up play. He can ball carry. He can shoot. He can score. He can head. He can use both feet. I just like him a lot, mate. I just like him a lot. I've always said Isak, though, so maybe I'm starting to change my mind a bit and go towards Gyökeres. But, you know, I think Gyökeres is ready now. He's never been injured. Did you know that? Gyökeres has never had an injury and he's 26.
That's unbelievable. But I was speaking to a couple of Portuguese fans. They're saying they won't let him go in January. And I'm going, won't they? But you let your manager go in November. You know what I mean? So I don't, you know what I mean? If, you know, money talks.
That would suit us more, I must say. But I think that it's tough, isn't it? It's tough.
Yeah, and Isak, like, I think would suit Arsenal and wouldn't have to change as much under him. If I'll be really honest, if I was to be honest about it, there's a little bit more fluency with him, like, but it's not one of those ones where you turn around and say, right, he's not for me.
No.
You know, I think that there's, you know, it'd be interesting to see what does and where he does go.
I'll tell you what, just quickly, the one that we would more likely go for is Isak. I don't think Gyökeres. I mean, people want him, but we ain't been linked with him once, Lee.
No, I don't. I think there was some sort of talk, weren't there, that they were looking. There was some sort of interest. Maybe exploring it, like, you know. But I'm with you at the end of the day on this. I don't think if Mikel had a choice, I don't think he would go. I think like.
I think he'd go Isak.
Yeah, I think he would. But I think if you said, right, yeah, we can get him in January and all that, like, you know, I would think that he would stick with Havertz. Yeah, I do. I do.
It's an interesting one. It is. Someone saying that he did get injured last year. I didn't realise that. I was told that he didn't get injured at all. I want to throw a couple of these questions at you because there's a lot of talk about Evan Ferguson. Now, we can't actually get him on loan because we've already got enough. We've got too many people on loan. We'd have to get rid of Sterling because we've got 2 loans already. So we won't be able to loan anyone in January unless we get rid of Sterling or Neto. But I think that Evan Ferguson is a player that was supposed to be like the next Harry Kane. Now, if you can't get in the team ahead of Danny Welbeck, big up to Welbs, then I don't really want you at Arsenal because I'd rather have Havertz than Ferguson, if I'm brutally honest. However, if he was to be available and the cheap were to get him, then fair play because I think
I'm a big fan. I think that his career's gone down a little bit. He got an injury, and I do think that Arsenal game he knocked his confidence a little bit, like, you know. But I still think that he's a talent, and he's one for the future. You know, don't forget these players like Gyokeres and Isaacs, where they weren't ripping up trees at 20 years of age. You know, you've got to develop him and all that, like, you know. And I do believe that Mikel would go for someone like that more than the ready-made one. I think that's why he went for Sesko, because he knows that they could be a backup to Havertz, but a different kind of backup. Do you know what I'm saying? Like someone that can be a bit of a different sort of a player. Isaac comes into the team. I think that, you know, he could play in a couple of different positions, but ultimately he would come down as the main guy. I think it'd be interesting what way to go, what they do in the summer. Maybe, Dan, we'll have to wait and see where we are in January. But if we are on, I'd say, like 4 or 5 points off of it come January, I think we've got to bite the bullet and go for it, Dan. I really do, like, you know what I mean? I do think that we do. Yesterday was a magnificent. Tuesday was a magnificent performance. No Jesus or no Sterling, not even coming on. So what does that tell you? I don't know. You know, but Jesus contributed against Nottingham Forest. I'm not saying he didn't, but I
don't think he's happy though with what he's got. I really don't.
Can I say there's a little bit of a desperation? Not a desperation. That's the wrong word to say. But he's keen. He's keen to get on. He's keen to get Marino on. Just like 1 second, I've got to go and answer Paul.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Let's just take this question quick. Nando says, Dan and Lee, if we was to get Ferguson on loan, meaning that we get Isak and Wirtz in the summer, would you take that deal? Yes, because Isak and Wirtz, I definitely want at Arsenal, 100%. And if it's not Gyökeres we go for, then Isak's the one that I'd take. Ferguson on loan is going to be hard because of our loan situation. And I'm not sure that Brighton are too interested to get him gone because, let's be real, he is a good squad player for them at the moment. So I'd be very surprised if we did go and get him. And they want 60 million apparently after the loan. That's a lot of money for a player who's 19 and unproven, really. So we'll see. The last one here from Campbell says, Dan, do you think Arteta really wants a 9 that's going to demand start over Havertz? And that is the biggest question of all, isn't it, really?
That is the big question. That is the massive question. And I'm not so sure. He does like that way. And it's interesting that a lot of Arsenal fans are still talking about this, and we're talking about it now after scoring 5 away, 3 on Saturday. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what happens on Saturday. If we can go there and get another big score, that'd be fantastic. To see if we can, and we'll still be talking about it. dare I say, if Arsenal do go and win the league, I still think we're still talking about it. I think it's an incredible debate at this moment in time. Listen, Havertz played well yesterday. I didn't think it was one of his better games. Sorry, on Tuesday, I thought he was good. And what was the pleasing thing for me is that if Martinelli don't score the first goal, I think it would have been a penalty on Havertz. He's right in there, and in the second one, Havertz is in there again, and so was Martinelli. They're both, and that's what you want to see in those sort of positions. And what was good about it, that he does still pops up into midfield and does things there. He was the one that fed Odegaard for the penalty. But for me, I think that it's always going to be a question, because there's going to be that game, isn't there, where it's 0-0 with 10 minutes to go and it ain't happening, and we need that goal, and the ball goes flashing across. Havertz is like, playing with Saka's shorts on the right hand side. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like that desire to get in and go. There was a part of me on Tuesday. Do you remember the penalty? Havertz picked it up and I said, "Yeah, go on, son. That's it. Go. Like you've already got one. We'll fill your boots." And then he give it back to Saka, didn't he? But I want to see a little bit more ruthlessness from Havertz, if I'll be honest. I watch Gyökeres, whatever his bloody name is.
Gyökeres, no G, Gyökeres. Just say Gyökeres.
Gyökeres, whatever his name is. Bloody hell, Viktor. Gyökeres. Even though he was always looking to score, all right, it weren't happening for him. So, but he still had 3 shots, I think, in the game, and people are saying that he's was in people's pockets, which he was. Let's be honest about it. He was taken out of the game, but he still had 3 shots. I think if Havertz played up top against him too, how many shots would he get? He might get 4 passes in and a 1-2 with the right back, but will he get 3 shots in? And I don't know. And I did quite like that turn and shot that he had. I know it went over the bar, but it was direct and whatever. But then again, would Arteta want that? I don't know. That is the big question, isn't it? That is the big question.
Massive question. Look, to come to a close, we have got West Ham at the weekend. Talk to me. Same team. Are we going to beat them, Lee?
I'm looking forward to it. You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to watching Arsenal at the moment. Funny that, isn't it? When you start winning, you start to look forward to it again.
We're looking forward.
I'll keep the same team. I'll keep the same team, I think.
Same team. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Same team. If I was a betting man, I would say that as well. But if I edge my bets a little bit, I think that he might bring in Trossard for Martinelli, but I would go with the same team. I think the reason that he done that, Dan, was because it was Saturday, Tuesday. This one is like now Tuesday to Saturday, and then it's Saturday to Wednesday to Sunday. So there's lots of recovery time where there wasn't that much recovery time from the Nottingham Forest game, But yeah, do you know what? When I see that, I put down a draw. I said it was a draw, but I did change my mind when I see that team. When the team come out, I thought it was our best team. I said, no, we win. I think if that team plays against West Ham, I'm confident. If there's a couple of changes, I'm not so confident. Even I still think we win.
No, I think we win, and I think that we keep
West Ham got a great result Monday as well, didn't they?
Well, that's kept him in the job now, isn't it? Like, let's be real. I think they would have lost if they were.
Yeah, I honestly think that it has kept it. Do you know what? If they'd have lost on Monday and then Arsenal go there and tonk them, that would have been his lot. So, if Arsenal go there and do what they've done last season, I think it might be their lot. Do you know what? A lot of West Ham fans, when we beat them 6-0 last season, a lot of them, that was it. That was their Moyes done and dusted, wasn't it? I know that it was harsh and whatever you think about it, but that was a lot of them said, right, yeah, okay, we need to change. If Arsenal were to go there and win heavily, I don't think they will, by the way. But listen, Arsenal, if they can do what they've done on Tuesday and play like that, they're capable of getting 4 or 5 again. They are. If they play at that sort of level, they could tear West Ham apart. I think they could tear a lot of teams apart. To get up to that level again is going to be tough. It'd be interesting to see what happens Saturday. Listen, all I know is that we've got to win, because what happens the next day?
Mate, if we don't win, we're going to not have a fun Sunday, are we? Do you know what I mean?
It's not even worth watching it. You might as well go and, you know what I mean, go and play snooker or go for a swim or whatever, take the dog for a walk. It's not even worth watching. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
Win. And I think we will win. I'm confident. I've gone 3-1. I think we will win.
You've gone 3-1. I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0.
I think we'll be all right, mate. I think we will. I'm quietly confident. Well, we play like we did against Lisbon, we will beat them. We will beat them. And we play like against Forest, we'll beat them. Forest and Sporting Lisbon are miles ahead of West Ham at the moment. Miles ahead. West Ham, they've done well in the past, but we put 6 past them under Moyes when they were playing half decent. So what can we do when we go against a Lopetegui side? Let's be real.
Do you think they'd be nervous about that?
About the fact that we beat them on their minds? Yeah, of course, that'll be in their minds, but they want revenge, Lee. They want revenge for 2 reasons. 1, Rice, and 2, that we beat them 6-0. They took points off us last season and knocked us out of the cup, remember? Yeah. So it's become a little bit of not a rivalry because they don't win anything, but you know what I mean? It's like a kind of, they've tried to make it a rivalry, West Ham. We need to shut them up. We need to keep them quiet, because I think we can. I think we can quite convincingly win, quietly confident we can play well against them. I'll say that, and we get the 3 points. And that's all I want. I don't care if it's 2-1, 1-0. As long as we win the game, I do not care, because we need to get a consistent run of games in. It's nice to play football and beat team and blitz teams. It'd be lovely to put 5 or 6 past them, right? But I must say, I think it's a situation where we are in must win. And if we win that game, we'll sit there on Sunday. And I'll tell you what, and I've said this earlier, I would love it to be a draw. And I don't mind Man City beating Liverpool, right? But even if Liverpool win, as long as we win, I don't care, Lee, because it'll still be 9 points. It's not like, oh my God, we've lost out. No, we ain't. It's still the same. Man City are out of it, mate. Laters, 11 points behind them. You can't do that. But we could, by the end of it, be 6 points behind Liverpool. Man City still be ahead of us, but at least we'd be only 6 points behind Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? So it could be a good weekend, a good Sunday for us, as long as we win. We've just got to win Saturday, do our job. And this is the thing, sound like Roy Keane, just do your job. But it's true. Do your job and get 3 points.
That's it. Yeah, I'm with you.
That's what we've got to care about, mate. So that's what I'm winning.
We've got to keep winning.
Got to keep winning. So you're going 2-0. I'll go 3-1. And people in the chat are saying 4-0s, 3-1s. I think 2-0 as well.
4-0. I'll take that, CB. I'll take 4-0. I'll buy it around.
Well, CB. I'll take that as well. 100%. Listen, Lee, always a pleasure, my bro.
No worries, man.
Great to have you back in the UK. Are you going at the weekend here?
Yes. Are you going or not?
I'm not going this one, no. If I'm honest with you,
it ain't
my favourite. No, ain't my favourite away ground, mate. No. I've been a couple of times, and you set up at the right of the deck there. You can always see anything. They've got that weird scaffolding dance thing.
Yeah, it's a weird place to watch football.
It is a very odd stadium, but it's not my favourite place. But I'll be watching it, absolutely, and praying and cheering the boys on. So let's hope that we can take 3 points, man. Look, big up to everybody. Thank you so much. Stay where you are. It's going to redirect you to my show, which is on in 5 minutes. I've got a good panel for you. We're going to be talking about Liverpool and how serious they are, Manchester City this weekend, and of course Arsenal as well, and how things have hotted up in the title race, and of course in Europe. Judges, pleasure, mate. I'll let you say goodbye and see everyone out.
Listen, stay warm out there. I might have had flip-flops, and shorts on, but it's cold out there. Wear an hat, wear your gloves, stay warm, and be positive. Arsenal are coming to get West Ham.